Can you hear me?
You just like went to your computer mic or something.
Check. Yeah, hold on a second.
Oh my God. Well, while you figure out what you're doing, I'm going to intro the podcast. Welcome, everybody. This is Watch Diary. Thank you so much for joining me here. Brando's checking his mic. It just went out in true Brando fashion here. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, at Rewatch Ryan. Brando, you ready yet?
No.
No, I can hear you. That's your mic.
That's my mic?
Yeah, I've got you now.
Okay. I'm going to have to re-record.
Okay, that's fine. You can re-record. So right now, if you're listening, I don't have his audio yet, but it's all good. Real quick, if you want to support the show, I have a new sponsor. Yeah, that's right. Audible reached out to me and said, look, your podcast is huge. Your content's amazing. We love your commentary on Tollywood cinema. We're going to give your listeners and your viewers 30 days free using Audible. So if you want to, you're watching this on video, there's a QR code in the corner. You can just scan that with your phone, and that'll take you to your free trial on me. And there's also a link in the description down below if you're listening to this on a podcast. Brando thinks it's funny that I have a sponsor. What's up with that?
No, I just figured, it would have been BetterHelp or something. Because they took one look at your life, knew what you needed, and offered it.
Yeah, or what Keeps or Hims or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
No, the real is Audible just has a thing you can sign up for, and now they're my sponsor. So
or Match.com.
And I waited so long to get approved. I did it for like Film Beef or Sight and Sound or something a long time ago, and I was approved within like 24 hours. I just sent in an application like 2 weeks ago, and I've been waiting. And I finally, they assign you like a rep, and my guy's name was Josh. And I finally just
can't trust a Josh.
Yeah. I emailed him. I was like, hey, Josh, just wondering, this process is taking longer than I remember. What's the deal? And instead of replying, I just got an email saying my application was approved.
That's funny.
So I guess it's just been sitting there that whole time.
Yeah. You would be the guy to reach out and be like, hey, I want that free money.
Yeah. I get a little Karen. What's the male version of a Karen?
Ken? Chad?
Yeah, I can get like that. If a company irritates me and I know that I can get my way if I just publicly shame them, I'll do it. Emotionally, I'm not riled up or angry. I just know if I word this tweet like this, they're gonna respond to me. So I definitely do that a lot.
Okay,
but
do you do that on Twitter and tag them?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's some companies. So the company of this shirt, actually, I was going to tweet at, but they don't have a Twitter account.
Is that One Bone?
It's Built, BYLT. They're really good shirts. I like their fitting, but and I have a lot of them. I own a lot of them now, but they have two different blends of fabric for their shirt. You can choose which one you want, and one is mostly spandex and the other's mostly cotton, or not mostly spandex, but it has more spandex than the other, and it's a little bit more smooth, and they have different textures for sure. So I wonder if you have this problem, because I feel like this is a men's problem that we don't discuss enough. All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
How uncomfortable are you? And I'll just go on and tell you I'm uncomfortable with it as well, so it's okay. You're in a safe space. How uncomfortable are you in your daily life if you wear just a plain white tee?
I don't own any plain white tees.
Okay. Well, let's dig deeper. Why?
Because I'm fat. I only wear the color black if I'm wearing a t-shirt. Period. Yes.
So I have that same discomfort, and I think white's very flattering. Wait, what's the phrase? Not flattering or is flattering? Flattering.
Is not flattering.
Is not flattering. Yes, that's right. It's fattering.
There you go.
And
wow.
Also, a lot of the white shirts that bother me is that they're see-through. So it's first of all, it's one of those things where why would any t-shirt company make a see-through white shirt for a male?
I can think of tons of reasons.
Why?
Sex, Ryan. People love sex, and some men are sexy.
What does that
You
have
telling me right now you wouldn't want to see Chris Hemsworth in a white shirt that you could kind of see through?
There's nothing sexy about
male
being
body?
out in public and just seeing a guy in a white t-shirt, and because you're only going to be distracted because you can see his nipples.
Are you afraid of nipples?
No, that's just like a weird thing.
Would you rather someone walk down the street with an unbuttoned dress shirt on?
Actually, yeah. Because there's like context for that. Like if it's like a beach wear and you've got like an open shirt, like an open button down shirt with like nothing underneath, it's still covering the nipple. It's the nipple. I'm turning into the FCC right now.
You sure are.
I'm turning into FCC. But like, just why make a white tee that can see the nipple? Just make it thicker. I don't understand.
Well, that's not as bad as, so a lot of fat guys I know will wear the I think they're called wife beater or A-line cut. I don't know what the appropriate thing to call them is. So I'm going to call them wife beater just because that's what I've always known them to be called. Tank top, fitted tank top, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But a lot of fat dudes wear them and think that it hides it. It doesn't hide it, and we can all see it. It just looks like you're wearing a corset or a bra.
Yeah.
Because especially if they wear just a white T-shirt over top of the tank top, wife beater, whatever they're called. And so, yeah, it looks awful, and it doesn't hide anything.
It sure doesn't.
But anyway, I get you. I only buy T-shirts. This is how bougie I am. I only buy T-shirts from one company. One. And I have 8 of the same plain black T-shirt.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I have a job that has a dress code that involves darker colors. So I went ahead, like most of my wardrobe is black tees too. But you want to know why this is great? Because, first of all, we had this off-air discussion about how we're so similar. This is another reason why we're so similar.
Okay.
The black tee look, it's the Ricky Gervais, Louis C.K., Simon Cowell look, where somehow...
Steve Jobs.
Somehow you benefit from looking plain as hell. But you want to know where I caught on to this? Is David Duchovny in Californication.
Okay.
Did you ever watch that show?
No.
In that show, I swear, every single episode, he's wearing just a black t-shirt and jeans, and he looks incredible all the time. And it's all he's wearing in that show. And I was like, this is what I want, even though I will be highly criticized for it by Jay Williams.
Well, I add accoutrement to my black t-shirt. I usually either wear a black denim vest or a denim, like a normal blue jean colored denim vest.
Right.
Or I'll wear the short sleeve button up, which I'm a big fan of the short sleeve button up. You know who else is a big fan of the short sleeve button up? And I've been told this, so I'm only relaying the information that was told to me. Lesbians. So a bunch of folks have come up to me and said that they thought I was cool that are lesbians. And when I asked them why, they said, because you wear lesbian shirts.
Yeah.
I said, excuse me? They said, yeah, the short sleeve button up is a lesbian shirt. We own that now. And I was like, number one, I don't think you speak for all lesbians. And they assured me that they absolutely did. And so don't come after me. I'm just saying what was told to me, but it was hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's true. The short sleeve button up, a good look, especially if it's one of those patterned ones. Like I have some that have little skulls on them.
Have some the one you're wearing in this photograph I'm looking at here.
That's right.
Is that short sleeve?
Yeah, it is short sleeve. And it shows off my tattoos. It's just a good look. And if you're a fat guy, I think Bill Burr has a bit about like what kind of shape you're in. Like, are you t-shirt only shape? Are you dress shirt shape? Are you tank top shape?
Yes.
So I'm none of those. So as many layers as I can have that kind of smooth the eye line from the mountainous curves on my body. I'm very bootylicious. I'm very voluptuous.
That's right.
And so I've restarted my health journey again.
Nice.
Because I gained back almost every pound that I lost. Almost every pound. And so we're back on that fitness journey. So, hopefully we'll get back down to no vest required shape in the near future.
I like that. I'm glad you said it on air. That way, from now on, I can shame you into continuing your health and fitness journey.
You and my doctor must be working together.
That's right. What was that? Oh, so anyway, back to me tweeting this company. So I bought a T-shirt that's like bone colored, like a very like pale cream.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything about the blends that they offer. I just bought what I saw and didn't realize I could differentiate. But when I got it, it was cream colored and it was still see-through. And so I sent it back and I was like, you know what? This is just going to be my T-shirt company where I get the black and you know, this one's maroon or burgundy, whatever you want to say, but wine colored. But mostly darker colors. That way I don't have this problem. But then I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get some white shirts. So I sent in a customer support chat or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey there, like I just wanted to know which one of your two blends is thicker so that I can get a white shirt that I can feel confident wearing. I was like, I just don't like see-through white shirts. Like, it's a very specific question. So I waited a couple days for them to reply, and then I got an email from their girly, and then she was like, Ryan, try the Luxe blend because it's a softer cotton fabric, and she just like explained the two fabrics and just didn't answer my question at all, and then ended it with, I hope that helped.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to tweet at them and be like, hey, this actually doesn't help at all, and answer my question. Like, I was gonna be funny about it, but they didn't have a Twitter account, and
I wonder how many
that story
of those Ryan Snelling messages they get a week. Excuse me, which one of these is thicker?
I'm trying to think of which company I've probably done that the most to. There was a while I went back and forth with Dick's Sporting Goods over a return.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway.
Why did you ever go to Dick's Sporting Goods?
I have another question for you. I really, really need your help, and I know this is me blindsiding you a bit, and then we'll get into...
I'm excited.
Talking movies. So, there's a lot of people in my life, mostly who I work with, that tell me that they don't always get or know or they haven't learned my sense of humor yet. And it leads to a lot of rifts and concerns. And, you know, somebody said it to me the other day. They were like, I just don't get your sense of humor. It took me a long time to get your... And I just wanted to be like, what is my sense of humor? Like, explain it to me. Because in my head, I make a ton of sense. And I'm just curious. Brando, do you have an answer for me? What is...
No! No.
You don't know what my sense of humor is?
No, it's that's the dumbest question I've been asked, and I have a 3-year-old. No, it's either funny or it's not. It's everyone just needs to calm down. And no one loves to be told to calm down like woke people. I just think if it's funny, it's funny. Like, there's a lot of people who don't know when I'm joking, and right. I think they're stupid. And some of these people have like master's degrees, but they're so stupid because obviously when I'm joking, I move my face in a different way, or it's just so ludicrous. Like, how could anyone actually think this?
Right.
So yeah, if someone isn't in on the joke and doesn't get it, it immediately makes it funnier. Like 1,000%. Like, I'm not trying to keep them from it, but if they don't get it, I'm not explaining it.
You know, and what's weird, I was thinking about the reverse. I was like, is there anybody on the planet where, like, I don't get their sense of humor? And, like, I don't think there is. Like, I always get a sense of humor. Sometimes I just don't like it. Like, there's been, what was that? Miranda Sings. Do you remember that personality?
No.
I couldn't stand that sense of humor, even though I knew that it was a sense of humor. But that was also, like, wildly, like, polarizing and just like on another planet. Like nobody in my daily life has a sense of humor like that. So I, like you said, love to just say things to get a reaction. Like, and
Yes.
like they're rooted in just preposterous. And I was like, that's the kind of like Seinfeld, and it goes dark a lot. It's the Seinfeldian, like David Letterman, Larry David styling of just like kind of accepting something and just being like, oh yeah. Like one of my favorite jokes on Curb is Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld debating what Barbercide is. You know, the blue liquid at the barber shop.
Oh yeah.
And then, what is Barbercide anyway? And Larry's just like, oh, they kill themselves. Oh yes, that's right. A barber commits Barbercide. And then they're just like, okay, and then they just move on with what they're saying. That's
Right.
that's what I want my life to be like. And I always think I have a Jerry Seinfeld on the other end of what I'm saying that's obviously preposterous, and then we move, and I never do.
Yeah.
So I think that's, and a lot of it, it's like, I don't get your sarcasm, and it's just like, I feel like I'm saying something that's obviously not real. But,
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm glad we figured this out. That makes sense.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I also wish you have a lot of introspective things in regards to Ryan Snelling, and I thought that might be one of them.
Yeah. No, I think I think they are correct. Anyone who doesn't get Ryan Snelling is correct.
So the Zoom hangout is giving us 10 minutes. Oh, by the way, Brando, do you have your phone right beside you?
Yeah.
Okay, have your phone ready. Zoom is giving us 10 minutes. Let's see if we can review Samaritan within that time before we have to start a new Zoom
Okay.
call. I would like for you to start this review of Samaritan out with reciting the text message that you sent me this morning.
Okay. Let's
All
see
right.
if I can find it. Ryan No Hug Snelling is what you're saved in as my phone.
Okay.
I said this is before or after the Florence Pugh conversation.
Is it after?
Oh, I texted, how far into Samaritan did you get before you regretted watching it? And I want that answer. You never answered me.
I would say probably 15 minutes.
Yes. Within the first 10 minutes, I was like, uh-oh.
Okay. So, while watching it, was thinking of you. Because I know, I was
I
like,
love that.
I know that Brando is regretting ever having met me.
That's right.
Ever regrets ever agreeing to be on this podcast reviewing Samaritan. But, you know, every now and then, we got to humble ourselves and watch a movie like this. I mean, it was just last week where we were mostly praising a movie on Prime Video, and this one just happened to be the dud. So let me explain to you why I asked you to watch this, because I feel like I have to explain a little bit. And this is it. It's directed by a gentleman named Julius Avery, who directed one of my favorite genre films over the last few years, Overlord.
Okay.
And that's about it.
If I would have known that, it would have helped me.
Yeah.
I would have known what to expect because Overlord was not good.
Are you sure? Because Overlord is awesome.
Well, from what I remember about Overlord, I saw it exactly once. It's all I needed. And 10 minutes into the movie, I'm like, what is this, hardcore Henry?
What? Because of the parachute sequence?
Yeah, no, because, kind of. I just thought it was silly goose times. There wasn't anything in there that really grabbed me. But maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe I was in an altered state of consciousness at the time. So I'll give it a rewatch. But my God, no, I did not enjoy that. And I sure as hell didn't enjoy this. 5 minutes in, I'm going, what? Is this because it's like, why did Ryan want to watch this? Is it because of Sylvester Stallone? Can't be. Is it because of action comic book movie? Maybe. You know, Ryan forgives bad Netflix Marvel, and so he probably will forgive this bad movie. No, immediately I was like, I have two thoughts. One, Sylvester Stallone looks incredible for 76.
Yeah.
for the age of 76. I'm not going to look that good when I'm 50. But I've always had a hard time understanding Sylvester Stallone.
Fair.
And in this movie, it's like up to 11. Like, what the hell is this man saying? Thank God for subtitles.
You subtitle Sylvester Stallone. That's incredible.
I subtitle every movie I watch.
So obviously I want to watch something like this. I want a new altered take on the superhero genre. I was wondering, what it would be like to get Sylvester in a lead title role. Because, I mean, he's not a stranger to comic book material. I mean, obviously Judge Dredd, even though, say what you will about that, but he was there. He was in Guardians Volume 2, which is a movie I don't really like. So, I mean, he's definitely dabbled. Oh, and he played King Shark in the Suicide Squad most recently. So he's definitely dabbled in the or superhero genre, I should say, not just comic book. But Samaritan, it was a cool idea on paper. And I think out of the entire movie, I got like one little nugget that I was like, oh, this is actually what I appreciate, and I wish we did a little bit more with this one sole idea. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest cardinal sin of this entire movie, and like a whole bunch of other little problems, the umbrella problem, is that this movie has no idea who it's for. Is this a movie for kids, or is it a movie for 50-year-old Sylvester Stallone fans? It never knows. And part of me, I watched one scene and I was like, you know what? I would have loved this as a kid. And then the very next scene, they are cursing towards each other. And I'm like, wait a minute. What is this movie's identity? It never knows and never figures it out. And everything else comes in because of that reason.
Yeah, I just thought the story sucked from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, they're two twin brothers. The names themselves. So, I'm a Christian. Like,
Right.
I'm all about the Good Samaritan. But, how long into the movie did you call the twist?
I don't remember exactly because I kept questioning, oh, well, then maybe not. But I knew the twist, and I never know the twist. When I turn my brain off when I watch movies, I don't think about them in the moment like that, and which is how I prefer it.
Yeah.
But the fact that this movie was so obvious, and also just so distracting, like I could
He's
not.
a superhero who got felled by tripping. He made this big thing. He's been in all these epic battles, and he tripped down a hole and
That's right.
died.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the twist right away. But my experience with this, and the people, I don't know if people like this movie. So the people that like this movie and are mad that I didn't give it the chance, I was watching it on my computer, like where I'm sitting right now, and I had AirPods in, and if I needed to go wash some dishes or refill or get some new Spindrift black tea lemonade, I would just go do it wearing my AirPods, hearing some of the audio, but not caring any more about the story or anything. So
this week I watched Baahubali 2.
Yeah.
And this was the movie I thought was long.
Yeah, I can see that. So
Yeah.
I again, the DNA of this movie, there is a version of this that I would have loved
Sure.
as a kid. There's a DNA that I would have loved now. I love the coming of age aspect. I love meeting your heroes. This legend of Samaritan versus Nemesis, which, yes, that is dumb, and a great way to review it is just simply by the name of the hero and the villain. There is a version of this that's like such a Ryan Snelling movie, but the fact that, first of all, the kid from Euphoria, this movie must have been made pre-pandemic because he's already aged so far out of like how old he was in this movie.
Was he the rapper kid?
Yeah. Wait, no.
Yeah.
He's not a rapper. He's just the drug dealing kid.
Yeah, the kid that
From
looks
Euphoria.
like a rapper, like a SoundCloud rapper
Yeah. Okay.
with the weird colored hair. He just looks like your average local white hometown rapper.
And I don't know how long this movie's been on the shelf, just waiting for distribution, because I couldn't believe it. It was so distracting. Also, I didn't think he was great in it.
No.
Like, I felt like the acting and the editing, they edited takes together that didn't like synchronize.
Yeah.
Like, which every movie does, but it's just a matter of how well they do it and how distracting is it. But like, even the cutaways to some of the most distracting splits between when Sly is actually doing something and when his stunt double is. And I remember it reminds me of like some Nickelodeon show where like someone who's unsuspecting, like you, for example, or it's like what's the movie Kung Pao? It was like that.
It's a great movie.
Kung Pao. It'd be like, obviously this actor is doing something, and then it would cut, and then an obvious stunt double would do something ridiculous. That's what it was almost like sometimes.
Yeah, this movie reminded me a lot of like a Shark Boy versus Lava Girl. And then in the acting, there's literally a scene where Sylvester Stallone is standing like a foot away from the kid, and he goes, come here. And the kid doesn't move, and he goes, listen to me. And then goes into this story about like, you want to be a good guy, and I was just like, this is so bad. Like, Sylvester is not all there, it just the acting in this movie isn't great. The kid is probably the best, but he's still not great. So then the Greyjoy that was in the movie, I thought that he was fine. But it was such like everything was so surface level, not developed. Yeah. That it felt like a 12-year-old. It felt like the kid in the movie wrote the movie. Like it wasn't a good script. It wasn't a good story. There weren't good acting. Like if this had had another year of rewrites and development, could have been a cool movie. Right. Like they would have went, oh, this is the dumbest premise. Like let's fix these like Nemesis and Samaritan and just give them an inch more of development. Right. And like thinking through, it could have been cool, but it so wasn't. It was terrible. I mean, it was like, I almost want to say like it was still fun. But it wasn't. It was just like, it was a job. It felt like a job to watch this movie.
So the moment, to answer your question, the specific moment where I realized I regretted this assignment was right when Greyjoy stands on top of the car and starts putting on his Nemesis mask, and the neighborhood starts coming out and like videotaping him, and he's like starting a movement, right? One of his henchmen looks around the crowd and starts a Nemesis chant. That was the moment. He's like looking around. Nemesis, Nemesis. It's like, never show the guy that starts the chant. Just start chanting or start rioting. But the guy that he was like, Nemesis, no. I was like, this is it. That's the moment. The only idea that I liked and that I wish was explored more was I love the idea of a generation of kids that always heard from their grandparents what a hero was. Like the fact that he was like, oh, you saved my grandpa or you saved my dad. I liked that idea, and I wish we could have really done more with that and like the fallout.
You know what's a better movie of this? What? Unbreakable.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's not like the generational thing that I was just saying, but
no, I'm saying this movie has already been made, and it's called Unbreakable, and it's good. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
And it's better than this. It's way better.
Oh, and I also didn't really say it, but we kind of already covered everything already, but the acting is also really cringy sometimes. I mean, just...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think Greyjoy did the best. Palu, I can't remember his name. But yeah, I was really kind of disappointed in the kid, because I felt like if I had known more... I didn't even know he was in it. But if I had known prior to this, like leading up to it, I'd been like, oh, the kid from Euphoria, I can't wait to see. It's like, yikes, man.
Yeah, not good. Not a good movie. It's like if Kick-Ass and Unbreakable had a baby, that's kind of the vibe this movie goes for, like with the secret superhero. It just, everything is executed poorly in my opinion. And yeah, didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that we finally watched Baahubali Part 2. I woke up this morning to yet another comment from someone who is asking us that we heard the people have been asking for our review of Baahubali, the conclusion, and we are finally ready to do so. The highly anticipated review, maybe the highest anticipated video of my career creating content, somehow is reviewing Baahubali Part 2. I watched it last week. A little afraid I don't remember everything, so you might take the lead, but you watched it just last night, right?
I watched it last night. I actually looked at my wife and said, "Hey, I've got to watch this movie for the podcast tomorrow." And she's like, "Oh, that's fine. I'll just read." And so she sat next to me on the couch and she read, and I watched this movie and would try to engage her. And she's like, "Oh, honey, I don't care." And yeah, so that was my watching experience.
That went the exact opposite of what I thought. I thought you were going to talk about how she dropped her book and was just so enamored and engaged with everything.
But so I put this movie on. The opening sequence of this movie could have been Baahubali 1.
Yeah.
Like, it could have that could have been what it was. So they do like a recap. I liked the intro. I thought it was fun, where they're basically showing scenes from last movie. I don't know. How closely were these two films made? Do you know?
I think 2 years apart.
Okay. So, I watched it. Did you watch it in Tamil or Tamil?
I think I watched it in Hindi.
Okay, because I watched it in Tamil, made sure I did, and the mouth still didn't match up. So I don't know what's going on.
Oh, because, I texted you. I was like, oh, this is the native language. Yes. Yeah. That thing happened to me. That's when I finally settled on Hindi, because I was like, oh, I think I watched part 1 this way. So at least I'll have that consistency, even though it's not. I went through every version, because our Netflix has 3 versions of this. And I went through every single one trying to, hear if I could hear a familiar, acting voice, like a dub voice, and I couldn't. So I finally just settled. And also the mouths, too. I had the exact same problem, but I just settled on Hindi.
Okay. So let me ask you this question, just to get things set off and to get our answer out of the way. Do you think this movie is as good or better or worse than Baahubali 1?
This is a really difficult answer, or question to answer. So here's my thought process. The first place my mind goes is my main criticism of the beginning, or part 1, was that the flashback was wildly more interesting and engaging than everything else.
Yeah.
And when we talked about that, all of the people who commented, which, I knew what they meant. I mean, because it's very obvious to be wait until part 2, you have a better picture of what's going on. Of course. I mean, of course. But also, part 1 is a standalone movie.
That's right.
And part 2 doesn't. There's aspects of part 2 that aren't better than part 1. And I actually don't think part 2 makes part 1 any better, which is what I thought a lot of the comments were trying to get us to understand. Wait until part 2 fleshes everything out and it's going to get there. But honestly, so much of part 2 is the initial legend and the flashback, what I found so engaging about part 1, which was great. But the tone was different. From the same time period, the same story, learning about Bahubali's father, I guess, the flashbacks. The tone was different in the second movie, because it was way more over-dramatized soap opera, not even just the Tollywood over-the-topness. It was a more of a soap opera, and it really came down to how the elders were portrayed. But the other thing that really annoyed me was how we just kept cutting to the Queen Mother. Every time the camera cut to her, she just looked like somebody shoved something up her ass. Like that's
She looked like a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
When like someone walks in and they're not supposed to have.
And here's what's gonna happen. The fans who subscribe to this channel, who look for our Indian cinema reviews, who are from India, they get the culture stuff. They're just gonna tell me why it is what it is, and it's not gonna change this criticism. Like, I understand that it's just like, oh, it's just part of the. I get it. I'm just saying, I have a weird time responding to it.
Yeah.
So the Queen Mother was kind of a joke. The disabled elder, they just it made it out to be silly. When like I wanted to take it seriously, especially how cool the end of the first part was. So anyway, to kind of wrap this up, the flashback was better in part 1, and part 2 as a whole didn't make part 1 any better because it's kind of just like, think about all that dumb time we spent watching him stalk that woman, and then the woman like isn't even in part 2 hardly at all. Like I kind of forgot the love interest from the first movie, so it's like neither one are great wholes, and just depending on which one you respond to more, I think that's just what it comes down to. But I really don't know. I thought the final battle in part 1 was better than the final battle of part 2.
Yeah. So I thought part 2 is way better than part 1 in terms of pacing and direction. And like, I mean, part 1 ends immediately after he says, "It was me." End of movie. You know what I mean? Like when Katapa says that at the top of that hill. I appreciate part 1 for the story. Again, I still stand by this should have been a Starz series, not a movie. Because then the time skips and stuff would have made sense. And like, we spend 80% of the movie on the back in time, being back in time. So, even though you knew what was going to happen, like with the portrayal, the setup, all that stuff, I still thought it still carried the weight that it was meant to carry. There were still some glaring CGI mistakes in this movie, like that looked like a bad render. Like when he slides under the cart, there was like obviously where they tried to like paint the two scenes together and it didn't work. Right. But they left it because they had a time, restraint or whatever it was. But then I thought the CGI in this movie was way better. Like the elephants looked way better in this movie.
Oh yeah.
But I thought the story was better. There was still some like, obviously this movie has those like anime or Looney Tunes type of like silly things that happen. But I thought as a whole, this movie worked better for me than the first one.
I think I'm going to echo that. I think as a whole, because it's not, I've kind of only been like critical so far. I was thoroughly entertained.
Oh, same.
I was thoroughly entertained the entire time. I did think it looked better for sure. Than the first one. But again, I guess all of my criticisms at the top were in response to how it relates to the first movie. But I agree, it's a better whole. This covered the ground that I was mostly interested in from part 1, which is the flashback stuff.
Right.
So the fact that we covered all that ground and laid all that groundwork leading up to Baahubali 2 coming in and taking... I mean, also another thing too, I've been waiting for this battle sequence for a long time without knowing that it was for this movie because it was covered on Corridor Crew. That clip of... And the creativity, by the way. But the end battle sequence where they slingshot or trebuchet, whatever you want to say, from the palm trees over and the barrel of shields and stuff. Like, they covered that extensively on Corridor Crew, and I didn't realize that it was like this movie until I realized that it was this movie, And so I was like, oh, I've been waiting to see this for a long time. So that was kind of cool. And also the creativity behind the flaming yaks. I mean, that was pretty sick. seeing those flaming yaks take down that castle.
Yeah, I will say that in like the soap opera effect is they turned that up to 11.
Yeah.
In this movie, like everything is so over the top. The scenes where Katappa and Baahubali are acting weak or meek, like when they're trying to impress the princess or whatever.
Yeah.
Like those scenes are so stereotypical, like bad soap opera, but I still loved it, given that like the context of the world that these films have created. While of course I wouldn't like accept those types of things happening in like a Marvel movie, I think within the world that they've created, I was just so thoroughly entertained. This movie went by way faster. I think it was only 2 hours and 45 minutes.
It was still longer than part 1, though.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, part 1 was like 2:35.
It felt way longer, part 1 to me. I think this movie was paced better. I wasn't like taken out of the movie by the fact that he like painted somebody's hand under the water, or that how bad the art looked on the hands. But when they put them together, it's awesome. No, it's not. It still sucked. But in this movie, I thought like the love story made sense. I thought the betrayal made sense. Yeah, it was just I was entertained. I thought it was paced better. The acting, I can't tell if it's good or bad acting. Like the amount of zoom in shots on his face with his hair blowing in the wind just looking at the camera are hysterical, but I was like fist pumping each one. I'm like, you don't even know. And then they took the lyrics to the songs and that got put over the top in this movie. Yeah. Like those got turned up to 11. So in some ways this movie I think it's better than Baahubali 1. I was entertained by both films. I don't think one of them is bad, but I do think this is a better movie. But I am shocked at how little time we spent in the present, quote unquote.
Me too. It was only like the last
36 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
So when they switched over, I was like, there's 30 minutes left. If they're going to set this up for a part 3, I'm going to be so pissed.
I was a little bit worried about you. I'm not going to lie. Because
Why?
When we talked about the first one, you talked about being confused that the same actor was playing the son and the father of Baahubali. And so when I'm watching part 2, I was thinking to myself, I was like, I wonder how long this movie's playing for Brando, and he's not going to realize this is still the flashback.
No, I got it. When Katappa's beard is black, we're in the past.
That's right.
When Katappa's beard is white, guess what? We're in the future.
See, but I got confused too because there's like a different actress playing the mother. That's what confused me.
It's not the same actress as
like
the first movie?
When you see the enslaved, like dirty, the one that's been chained up the entire time, that's a different actress than the one that has a lemon up her ass.
No way.
Yeah.
I think you're wrong.
I don't think so. It's her like she has completely different shaped eyes or something.
Ryan, did you even watch the movie?
Don't do this to me.
It's the same actress, bruh.
You're lying to me.
No.
They have like different eyebrows. Like I'm not even eyebrows?
Yeah. My wife has different eyebrows than 5 years ago.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't feel bad because on this movie,
no, don't.
This movie, I didn't know that it was the same actor in the last movie. You didn't know, so.
Okay. But it made more sense to me now that she was the one who held the baby up in the beginning. Because in the very beginning of the movie, I thought that was his mom of Baahubali 1. And then you realize, I guess she was just like I thought, well, it's just one of their slaves. And right. I don't say that bad because there are slaves in this movie, okay? So it's not, there's no deeper thing. Like, I just thought that was one of their slaves who believed in this whatever about Baahubali. But what's better in this movie is he didn't spend 30 minutes climbing up a mountain.
That's right.
And I just thought like more happened in this movie than happened in the first one.
I agree.
And I thought the fight scenes were fine. I'm trying to think. They brought back that like death copter chariot.
Yeah.
I thought the action. So I did think the action in the first one was better. Like the inventiveness of the battles and stuff, I thought definitely was better in one.
I agree 100%.
And then I think, did you notice the actor from RRR in the scene where they first start plotting to kill Baahubali, or the Queen Mother? They plotted to kill her.
No, which one was it?
So when they're in the like on that rooftop, and it's the first time the differently abled gentleman with the weird like Hulk Hogan mustache, when he says like, "Oh, I wish she was dead. We should kill the Queen Mother," and then the Katapa comes in right after, and he's like, "I heard. Did you hear what we said?" And he's like, "No, but I smelled it because I'm a dog, right?" In that scene, the lead actor in RRR is in that room.
I didn't know that. I didn't catch that.
I saw him and I was like, "Hey, I know him." Like an old friend.
That's right.
But yeah, I was drinking while I was watching this movie. I had like 2 or 3 old fashions, and the more old fashions I had, the more fun I had.
That's good.
So I don't know if that goes into play with how much I enjoyed the film, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was better than 1, even though the things I like about 1 I like more than I like this movie.
Yeah.
I like this movie as a whole better.
I think I agree 100% with
I
that.
love that about you.
Yeah. Me and you are on the same page today.
Wow.
I don't know what it is. We're going to have to look up the like astrological significance of it.
Yeah. Are you an Aries?
No, I'm a Saggy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. None of that matters.
That's right. Tollywood ranked. It goes RRR, Baahubali the conclusion, and then Baahubali the beginning. From best to worst.
From the Tollywood movies that we've seen so far, definitely RRR 2 and then 1.
Yeah, I think John Campea agrees with that as well.
Who?
I'm looking forward to like I want to like stay on top of this and like watch new Tollywood films with you. But the problem is I don't think you're in an area that's going to show these in theaters because my theater does.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there a big Indian population close to you?
No, I just live in a metropolitan area.
I live near Louisville.
Are you going to drive there to see Tollywood?
No, I'm not going to go to the cinema to see anything.
Well, that's my point. That's my point.
Yeah, but we have Netflix. Okay? Okay. I want to see... So the next thing I want to watch from Tollywood is a movie set in present day. I would love to see their take on like a crime noir.
Yeah, I don't know if that exists. Let me know in the comment section down below what Brando and I can watch next. That is a modern telling of a story.
Here's a question I'm sure you don't care about. Did you think the music in this one was better?
Here's the thing. This is the part that I kind of enjoy the most because of how, again, and I get it, the lyrics that I'm reading on the subtitles, they're bad translations.
Yes.
I'm celebrating the bad translations because it is so fun to read the dumb lyrics. It is so fun.
Yeah.
So it's thoroughly entertaining, even though it's like I'm cringing, but I also understand the context, and that's also why I didn't regret watching it in Hindi. I'm like, if I can watch a worse translated version of this just purely for the songs, I promise I'm gonna enjoy it more. I love reading the lyrics.
Yeah.
I didn't answer your question because I don't know if it's better or not. I just thoroughly enjoyed it both times.
I meant the musical aspect, like the musical where they break out in song and dance.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's the easiest thing to swallow with, the cultural exchange, right? I mean, it's easy to accept. Like, they just do this and I'm down with it, And I mean, I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. And I think sometimes it gets lost because you and I are critical and skeptical and have questions, but we're also learning and being educated on this stuff. But like, I think the part that we get the most is that like everything that they do, whether we criticize it or not, it comes from the culture. So it's like, it's literally just, again, I think it's important for like the viewers to understand this, that like, we're not necessarily saying that we don't get why they do something. We're just saying that we don't recognize it, or we don't have the same appreciation for it.
Yeah. Did you think that Davicina was a baddie?
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
Also loved
I thought she was so attractive.
Also loved like the coward character. I kind of, it was a lot of fun like watching him. Like,
it's like looking in a mirror for you.
That's right. It was really fun to like kind of like watch him like protect him in a way, because there was like that sequence where Baahubali was like helping him look like a badass. Like that kind of stuff was really fun.
Yeah, where they were doing the boar hunting, that was a lot of fun. That whole sequence.
Yeah. So that stuff was cool. And Baahubali Senior is way cooler than Baahubali the child.
Oh, 1,000%. The kid sucks. Go daddy.
Oh man. All right. At the risk of running out of time, I think we're gonna have to call it right here, Brando. I've got to go to the laundromat and get my clothes out of the dryer. But guys, you got it. Finally, our thoughts on Baahubali, the conclusion. Again,
absolutely awesome time.
Yes, and I want to continue this run. If you have any doubt whatsoever how much we really like this movie, I promise the Tollywood stuff is going to keep coming. I think the movie that's been recommended the absolute most is this movie called KBG, if I remember correctly. But I'll have to look that up, and maybe we'll figure that out at another time. What's next?
Okay.
But guys, again, go to this QR code right here. You can get 30 days free. A free trial of Audible, 30 days on me, or you can go to the link in the description down below. It's audibletrial.com/rewatch, just rewatch, not rewatch Ryan. audibletrial.com/rewatch and get 30-day free trial of Audible. Maybe pick up a book called Fire and Blood and read about some Targaryens, because House of the Dragon is going on right now. Brando, you watching any TV?
You know what? So far today, I watched Spider-Man No Way Home. I watched House of the Dragon. And I've watched an episode of Euphoria that I missed out on.
And Samaritan.
You've
watched all that today?
No, between last night and today.
Okay.
That's right.
You on the She-Hulk train?
No, I haven't seen Shang-Li and the Six Rings or whatever.
Shang-Li, yeah.
Or any of the Marvel films. So when Captain Marvel came out, I've not seen anything since then. So I'm trying to play catch up.
That's not true. You've seen Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh, those two, yeah. But other than that, I've seen nothing. I'm gonna watch the new Doctor Strange right after this.
Without watching WandaVision?
Do I need to watch WandaVision?
WandaVision leads up to Doctor Strange.
Is WandaVision good?
Yeah.
Okay. But how many episodes?
9.
God. Are they 45 minutes long?
Just pay attention. I'm not asking you to watch everything Marvel, but just pay attention.
Do I have to watch Hawkeye?
When are you gonna figure out that every project in the MCU leads to another one?
Kinda. They'll reference it in the movies.
All right. Anyway, Brando, where can they find you online? Anywhere?
Instagram, Brando Big Mouth.
All right. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok @RewatchRyan. Guys, I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.